Hare Krishna. Welcome to the study of the Bhagavad-Gita. Our study of the Bhagavad-Gita is based on the Bhagavad-Gita As It Is by His Divine Grace A.C.Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This edition of the Bhagavad-Gita is the most widely read and distributed book. Many people in the modern era have transformed their lives by reading this particular translation. So let's enrich our lives and let's dive into the nectar of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Before I proceed, I would like to pay obeisances unto my spiritual master. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Raghavas Swami Niti Namine. This presentation is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C.Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield of Kurukshetra about 5,000 years ago. It was spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is the supreme controller of the entire universe, and that is the whole lesson given in this Bhagavad Gita. He is the supreme Lord and controller. Arjuna is very fortunate to have the Supreme Lord as his friend, and he is able to ask Krishna directly about the very questions of life. Arjuna asks several questions about life after death, about the goal of life, and how to live a perfect life. Krishna establishes that the goal of life is to realize that we are spirit souls, we are not this body, and we have an eternal relationship with Krishna. We should live a life that is conducive to spiritual understanding. Arjuna in the beginning is confused as to what is real duty, what is material duty, what is spiritual duty. And Krishna very beautifully from that platform takes him to the platform of self-realization. So it is not just for Arjuna but for all of us that Krishna spoke this Bhagavad Gita. The first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is more or less an introduction to the rest of the Bhagavad Gita. It contains the preparations for the war and Arjuna's questions. The first chapter is divided roughly into two sections. The section 1 is an introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, and section 2 is Arjuna's questions. The section 1 is divided into three subsections. 1 to 11 is preparation for the war. 12 to 20 verses indicate the signs of victory for the Pandavas. It was already written that the Pandavas would win because they were with Krishna. And how Krishna is a Bhakta Vatsala. That is, he is very affectionate to his devotees. That is proved in this first section. So let's begin the understanding of the Bhagavad Gita. So we'll take up the first section, verses 1 to 11. The scene is Dhritarashtra is sitting in Hastinapur and he is sitting with his secretary Sanjaya. Sanjaya is blessed by his guru Vyasadeva and he can directly see the battlefield of Kurukshetra right from where he is sitting. He is able to narrate live to Dhritarashtra and is able to answer all his questions about the ongoing activities on the battlefield. So this Bhagavad-Gita begins with this inquiry from Dhritarashtra. The first verse is the most important, and we'll try to repeat the most important verses in this particular presentation. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharmakshetre kurukshetre samaveta yujutsavaha mamakah pandavaschaiva kimakurvata Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Bhagavad Gita begins with the word Dharmakshetre. So this battle is fought in a holy place. So Dharma indicates occupational duty. Of course, the English word is religion, but Prabhupada says Dharma means the actual spiritual character. This we will see later on in the Bhagavad Gita. But here Dharma Kshetre is in a holy place, Kurukshetre. It is a place of worship even for the demigods or devatas. So it is such a pure and a wonderful holy place. Samaveta Yujutsavaha. All these warriors have gathered for a fight. They have really come there with a mindset to fight. Dhritarashtra begins with a particularly material mindset when he says, Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva. Mamakaha means mine, and Pandavaschaiva, the sons of Pandu. So he begins by separating the family. So this is the material disease that everybody has, mine and others. So everybody thinks that his family should be protected, and everybody is not bothered about the others. So this material calculation, Dhritarashtra is exhibiting his mindset. Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva. My sons and the sons of Pandu. Kim akurvata. What did they do? He is afraid. Whether his sons compromised because of the influence of the holy place? Did his sons give some land to the Pandavas? What happened? Was there an actual fight? He is afraid. He does not want to give even an inch of land even enough for a pin to go into the ground. Even that much of land he is not ready to give. So, Bhagavad Gita begins with this inquiry. And Sanjaya is a fit person to answer because he is a disciple of Vyasadeva. So only one who is in contact with the spiritual master, he can understand what is going on in this world in the true sense. Now Sanjaya begins answering Dhritarashtra's query. Sanjay uvacha Drashtva tu Pandavanekam Vyudam Duryodhanas tada Acharyam Raja Vachanam Abravit. Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. So Duryodhana, as you can see in this picture, approaches Dronacharya. So he is addressed as a king. But as a king, he is still in anxiety. And after looking over how the Pandavas have expertly arranged that army, Duryodhana in anxiety, he wants to make sure that Dronacharya and Bhishma are aware of the situation and they give their 100%. Duryodhana is a bit skeptical because both Dronacharya and Bhishma have some affection for the Pandavas. He does not want them to have any affection for the Pandavas. Therefore, Duryodhana now begins to speak. Duryodhana begins by measuring the strength of the Pandava army. This is typical of a man in material consciousness who is trying to measure what he can get out of this world, how he can enjoy this world. So Duryodhana exhibits that typical mentality. He tells Dronacharya, O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Now Drupada is a mutual enemy of Dronacharya. There was a fight some time ago, and Drupada, being angry with Dronacharya, performs a fire sacrifice in which he gets Drishtadyumna as his son and Draupadi as his daughter. Now this son Drishtadyumna was born with a specific benediction that he will kill Dronacharya. But Dronacharya, being a perfect Brahmana, when Drishtadyumna came to him for study of the Dhanurveda, that is the weapons, he kindly taught them without any reservations, although he knew that in future he would kill him, that Drishtadyumna would actually kill Dronacharya. But Dronacharya was unfazed by this and he performed true dharma. Now Duryodhana was questioning him that, see, you taught Drishtadyumna how to fight and now he has arranged an army against us. Then he says, continuing to measure the strength of the Pandava army, Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhima Arjuna Samayudhi Yuyudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharatha. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Yudhana, Virata and Drupada. Here, Bhima and Arjuna are the ones whom he compares everybody to. Duryodhana is afraid of Bhima and Duryodhana is afraid of Arjuna. But more than anybody, he is afraid of Bhima because he knows if anybody can kill him, it is only Bhima. And he knows the prowess of Arjuna. And he is using them as a benchmark to check how good the other fighters are. So he says, Bhima Arjuna Samayudhi, like him. And he names some other warriors. He continues, there are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Drashtaketu, Chekitana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Saibya. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamoja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters, Maharathas. So he names these wonderful people who are in the Pandava side. The Pandavas did not have a kingdom. They were in the forest for many, many years. But because they were blessed by Krishna, because they were great souls, they collected a good army as well. So Duryodhana is measuring the strength of that army who came to help the Pandavas. Now Duryodhana is naming some very important fighters on this battlefield. Asmakam tu vishishtaye tanniboda dvijottama nayaka mama sainyasya samnyartan tam bravimite. He says Asmakam tu Vishishta. Vishishta means, in my army, Vishishta means specific. I'm not talking about all the soldiers and everything. Duryodhana says, but for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my army force. So Vishishta means specific people. So he's naming the most important generals in his army. Dvijottama means, Dvija means twice born, one who has spiritual purification. So he's calling Dronacharya Dvijottama, the topmost among the purified. Let me tell you of the captains who are specially qualified to lead my military force. Then he names them one by one. He says, Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Krapascha Samitinjayaha Ashwathama Vikarnascha Saumadattis Tathaivacha. So there are personalities like you. Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. So he's trying to say that my army cannot lose because it has you, Drona. Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, and Vikarna. These are people who never lost a war. So there is no chance of them losing. He continues and measures the strength of his own army, as we saw in the last two verses. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. So Duryodhana makes a mistake here. He says, who are prepared to lay down their lives. So this indicates his negative mindset. Although he is pushing for a victory, but in the heart of hearts, he says to lay down their lives for my sake. So this itself indicates somebody who is scared. War is not won by laying down your life. War is won by killing the opposition. So this indicates a negative mindset. He further continues, Aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhima virakshitam Paryaptam tvidame tesham balam bhima virakshitam. So he says, our strength is immeasurable, aparyaptam, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma. Whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. So he says, the strength of the Pandavas carefully protected by Bhima. So, again, taking the name of Bhishma, he shows how scared he is of Bhima. And he compares on the other side to Bhima and on his side to Bhishma. So our strength is protected by Bhishma. So Bhishma as Ichamrityu means he can die only when he wants to die. Nobody can kill him. So keeping him as a benchmark, he thinks nobody can kill his army men. Aineshu cha sarveshu yata bhagam avastitaha bhishmamevabhirakshantu bhavantah sarva evahi. Then he issues a warning. See, our most important fighter is Bhishma. So he tells his army men, all of you must now give full support to grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. So Bhishma should be protected because he cannot die, and as long as he is there, victory is ours. So he tells all his army men, Bhishma is a bit old. Kindly protect him. So in all this, we see Duryodhana was thinking the following. Bhishma cannot be killed because he has Ichamrityu. So, our army is completely protected and Bhishma is a valiant warrior. He will never let me down. Dronacharya has taught the Pandavas how to fight. So how can the Pandavas defeat him? So my victory is assured. Hence, Duryodhana was very clear that nobody could defeat his army. Internally though, he had fear. But the main point is, Duryodhana forgot to count Krishna on the opposite side. He was counting Arjuna and Bhima, but they were under the protection of Krishna. So this is the problem with materialistic people. They do not consider the Supreme Lord Krishna, and hence they become blind with pride and envy. Krishna's strength is beyond material thinking. This shows the frailties of material mindset. Nobody can measure how strong Krishna is. His strength is immeasurable. So this is the drawback of material life, and Duryodhana here exhibits this particular mindset. Next, we see how the whole war starts with the victorious blowing of conch shells by the Pandavas, which itself indicates how they are carefully protected by Krishna. Wherever there is Krishna, there is victory. So Bhishma, just to satisfy Duryodhana, blows his conch shell, and that is indicated in this verse. Tasya sanjanayan harsham kuru vradha pitamaha simhanadam vinodyochaihi shankam dadmau pratapavan. Then Bhishma, the grand valiant sire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like a roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. So here it says it gave Duryodhana joy, but nothing much happened, because he himself knew as a devotee of Krishna that the victory is that of the Pandavas. But to show his sincerity to Duryodhana, he blows his conch shell. Tata shankascha bheryascha panavanaka gomukhaha sahasaivabhya hanyanta sashabdastumulo bhavat. Then there is a huge roar. Conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. So there was a huge sound. Warriors who are in the mode of passion, they need these sounds. as an encouragement. So there was big blowing of drums, bugles, conch shells and all. Then begins the entry of Krishna in this war. Tatah shvetair hayer yukte mahati syandane stito madhavah pandavas chaiva divyau shankau padadmatuhu. Tataha, then shveter hayer yukte, that is laden with white horses, the chariot. Madhava. Madhava means one who is the husband of goddess of fortune. So that indicates that all the fortune was with the Pandavas. Divyo Shankau Padadmatuhu. So their conch shells were transcendental. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. So we can see their conch shells are called transcendental. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Poundram Dadmo Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vrakodaraha. Then all the Pandavas begin to blow their transcendental conch shells. Their names are very wonderful. Krishna blew his conch shell called the Panchajanya. Rishikesha means one who controls his senses. Rather, controls everybody's senses. So Krishna blew his conch shell and all the Pandavas were overjoyed. But not just overjoyed, we can see the effect in the next few verses. Rishikesha means just by blowing his conch shell, he has controlled everybody's minds and he is in control of everything in this war. Then Arjuna blew his conch shell, the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell, the Poundra. So they blow their conch shells. Then all the other warriors on the Pandava side blow their conch shells. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya. And Nakula and Sahadeva blew the Sughosha and Manipushpaka. The great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Now comes the look at the effect of the blowing of these different conch shells by the Pandavas. Saghosho dharta rashtranam hridayani vyadharayat nabascha prathivim chaiva tumalobhyanu nadayan. The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra, when he heard this news, he was clearly devastated, because one can clearly understand it shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Shattered the hearts means they have lost all hope of victory. All hopes of victory are gone, shattered. Another sign of victory for the Pandavas is Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna. Hanuman is the devoted servant of Lord Ramachandra, and he agrees to come on the flag of Arjuna as per his promise to Bhima, that he will be in that war. And he promises that when they will roar, he will also roar wildly, and he will scare the hell out of the opposition army. Arjuna had a chariot given by Agni Deva, and his flag had Hanuman on it. So this is the speciality of that flag. Hanuman was personally present, and he will help the Pandavas in victory. Adha vyavasthitan drishtva dhartarashtran kapidhvajaha pravritte shastra shampate dhanurudyamya pandavaha rashikesham tada vakyam idamaha mahipate. At the time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot, bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Krishna these words. Now Krishna will show how affectionate he is to his devotees. We will look at this in our next video. Hare Krishna.